So, Your Excellency, Mr. Jessica Alupo, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, and the keynote speaker for today's event. My name is Ali Twinopsinje Severino, and I'm the President of the Catholic Lawyers Society International and the country representative of PACTPAN. PACTPAN is the Pan-African Catholic Theology and Pastoral Network. Your Excellency, with me is Mr. Henry Chalimpa. Mr. Henry Chalimpa is the Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Catholic Lawyers Society International and a board member of PACTPAN. Your Excellency, the event of today is about creating awareness against human trafficking. Your Excellency, it also comes at a time when we are celebrating the day for Saint Bakita, who is the patron saint for the people who have been trafficked. Your Excellency, the event of today is being telecast live on television, online, on radio, and others are watching live wherever they are, and it is a global event across all the 5 continents of the world. And Your Excellency, today we are privileged, and everyone across the continent is waiting to hear your keynote speech. And Your Excellency, my job is very simple, to request Your Excellency to address the people around the world as our keynote speaker for today. Your Excellency.
Religious leaders in your respective capacities, leaders of civil society organizations, distinguished dignitaries attending physically and listening on television and online around the world, guest speakers of today's event, members of the public, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to express special thanks to Professor Dr. Reverend Sister Leonida Katunje for requesting me to deliver this keynote speech today. It is both an honor, privilege, and a solemn responsibility to address you today on one of the most pressing human rights violations of our time, human trafficking. I am of the view that it should be called by its correct name, modern-day slavery. Our theme for this year is Restoring Hope in Africa, a jubilee call to end human trafficking. This issue cuts across borders, cultures, and economic systems, and sadly, many countries across the world have crossed into legislation gaining normalcy in the name of labor export. This should concern all of us. When the legal export of labor operates side by side with the underground trafficking of humans, while at the same time, hundreds of thousands of desperate young men and women are trying to escape poverty, wars and diseases fall into the hands of traffickers, slave traders, or die of exhaustion in deserts, or are devoured in jungles, or drowned at the sea, whether that be in North Africa and the Mediterranean Sea or South America, an uncanny normalcy is created. It goes unseen or is ignored. Yet it remains an ever-growing stain on our collective humanity. I call it a stain on our collective humanity because human trafficking does not only indignify its victims, it equally indignifies those who exploit them. It indignifies those responsible to protecting them. It indignifies those who watch it happen but are aloof or choose to play blind, deaf, and dumb about it. As we gather here today, 8th February, in our cities across all continents, I want to emphasize that human trafficking is not just an issue for one nation, one region, or one community. It is a global crisis, one that demands a unified multilateral response. I would like to thank MACTPAN and its leadership and all of you attending this event, both here in Uganda and the thousands joining us virtually and on televisions and various platforms from all over the world, because you understand the magnitude of the problem, the urgency of immediate action, and your commitment to addressing this matter is very important. Of course, I know that many of you have already been in the trenches fighting every day to end the cruel, inhuman, and vile practice of human trafficking. Human trafficking has been defined by many scholars as the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of individuals through force, fraud, or coercion for exploitation. Exploitation can take many forms, i.e., forced labor, sexual exploitation, recruitment as a child, trafficking for the harvest of human organs, and drug trafficking, among others. From the above, it is apparent that human trafficking is a multifaceted crime affecting men, women, and children, exploiting the vulnerable, the marginalized, and the desperate, regardless of their age, gender, color, or creed. There are no clear statistics on the actual number of victims, but it is generally estimated that up to 40 million people across the globe are living in some form of modern-day slavery. These individuals are subjected to inhuman conditions, stripped of their freedom, and deprived of their rights. Their lives are often reduced to objects of profit for traffickers who exploit their labor, bodies, and even their identities for financial gain. While no country is immune to human trafficking, modern-day slavery has not only sustained but perpetuates historical prejudices that have facilitated exploitation and dominance of sections of society, undercutting the great strides made in the struggle for equality and other fundamental human rights and freedoms. Trafficking in humans is a complex crime. As I have indicated already, it is neither simple nor isolated. It is linked to and facilitates other forms of criminality and exploitation that should be a concern to every government in the world and everyone involved in the efforts to create an equal, safer, and a crime-free world. Human trafficking enjoys a symbiotic relationship with organized crime syndicates. It is aided and perpetuated by corruption. It takes advantage of the weak legal systems. It operates in a shadow of limited awareness and understanding among the general population, and has the potential to destabilize democracy, especially in weaker states, but can also upset economic systems even in strong and more advanced societies. The trade in human beings is fueled by several factors, including economic disparity, political instability, and gender inequality. In regions where poverty and unemployment are rampant, human traffickers find a ready supply of vulnerable individuals who can be coerced or tricked into exploitation. Additionally, the demand for cheap labor, sexual services, and illegal access to human organs continues to drive the global market for human trafficking. Modern forms of communication, aided by artificial intelligence, especially the internet and digital platforms, have sadly exacerbated this problem. While technology can be used to combat trafficking, it also serves as a tool for traffickers to recruit, groom, and exploit victims. Online platforms, social media, and digital communication provide traffickers with new avenues to target individuals, often in ways that are difficult to detect or trace. I am glad to note, however, that it is not all doom and gloom. Over the years, tremendous progress has been made in raising awareness and strengthening national and international legal frameworks against human trafficking. In my country, Uganda, for example, the Parliament passed the Prevention of Trafficking in Persons Act, Cap 131. Thanks to the efforts of PACTFAN and other activists, including many of you present here today, and various other actors, both local and international. Several other efforts have been undertaken vigorously across the globe, and I am happy to report that they are creating a bulwark against the vice. Other notable players, mainly the United Nations, the European Union, and the regional bodies like ASEAN and the African Union, Catholic Episcopal Conferences, as well as PACTPAN, have taken significant steps in addressing human trafficking through conventions, protocols, and action plans like today's global awareness event. The UN protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in persons, especially women and children, also known as Palermo Protocol, stand out as the cornerstone of international law in the fight against trafficking. It urges states to enact comprehensive anti-trafficking laws, strengthening cooperation in law enforcement, and establish measures to protect victims. Many countries have adopted these frameworks into their national laws, yet the implementation and enforcement of these laws remain inconsistent. I notice that a lot more needs to be done. To use my country, Uganda, again as an example, the 2024 Trafficking in Persons report of the United States Department of State, as shared by the United States Embassy in Kampala, notes that Uganda remains ranked in the Tier 2 on its effort to combat trafficking in humans, noting that a lot more needs to be done. The report, however, commends the government of Uganda for its tremendous programs for officers involved in the prevention of trafficking in persons. However, there is still inadequate funding for activities around the vice. Partnership with NGOs and other non-state actors like PACTPAN could be enhanced. While progress has been made, much more remains to be done. A comprehensive, multifaceted effort is required urgently. As stakeholders from diverse sectors, we all have a unique role to play in creating a world free from human trafficking. From legal frameworks to enforcement, from creating awareness to demanding higher levels of accountability, and to being truly our brothers and sisters keepers. Improved coordination, collaboration and international cooperation is key. I would like to call upon all of you, theologians, philosophers, lawyers, professors, academicians, faith-based organizations, media, government enforcement agencies, regional and international players, as well as the private sector, to work together to combat this cancer on our common conscience, and we will watch the cancer spread and eat us all up. In conclusion, dear leaders of Pact Fund, friends, ladies and gentlemen, the fight against human trafficking is a fight for the most fundamental of human rights, that is, the right to freedom, dignity, and justice. It is a fight that requires collective action, resilience, and unwavering commitment from all of us. As we look to the future, let us pledge to work together across continents, borders, across sectors, and across communities to end this crime once and for all. I thank you all for listening to me and for your kind attention. May God bless all our efforts in the fight against human trafficking. Thank you.